The economic impact is quite significant. So what we've been in is a health crisis, and as we get over the health crisis, we sort of flatten the curve. It is becoming a financial crisis. So some of the statistics that have come out is that there was a million people lost their jobs in the month of March. And then in April, another 2 million lost their jobs. So we've got 3 million people on unemployment right now. And in addition to that, there is a number of people who are working at reduced capacity. So they've been asked to work at 80% or 60% of their normal rate. And so it's about 5.5 million increase in the number of people who are either unemployed or working at less than full capacity. And what this means is that the unemployment number has jumped to the second highest level in history at 13%. And so if people are unable to work and they don't have the consistent cash flow coming in, it is creating a crisis. That's why the government has created a number of emergency measures that they've put in place, such as CERB, assistance to employers to retain employees. But what it's doing to people is creating a crisis in their household budgets. And this is being recognized by the Bank of Canada. And then yesterday, the CMHC came out with a prediction. And the crisis that's developing is the fact that before this started, we had a financial problem where in 2019, the consumer insolvency statistics increased by 9.5%. We were starting to get into record territories of number of people having to file a bankruptcy or proposal, and that was before this crisis. Our debt-to-income ratio was 176% in the end of 19. And what that means is for every dollar you earn, you owe $1.76. Yesterday, the prediction from CMHC was we could see that increase to 230, meaning that for every dollar you earn, you actually owe $2.30. And so this is rapidly becoming a financial crisis for people that we're going to need to come up with a plan to address. So what we want people to do is sort of figure out where you're at right now, sort of take stock of your situation. What income do you have right now? If it's been reduced because you've got laid off or you're working at less than full capacity, have you checked out the government programs? What's available to you to assist you? And then after that, it's to start looking at your budget. Where are you at in terms of your household expenses? What debts do you have to pay off? If you're struggling to pay your debts, have you reached out to the financial institutions? Because most of them have got plans. So there's mortgage deferrals, there's credit card deferrals, there's reduction of interest rates on credit cards. Some of the auto companies have come up with plans to help you reduce payments or skip a payment. And so let's look at what options are available to you in order to reduce some of your ongoing commitments. Remember that this is a crisis budget we're trying to get people to work on. It is not a forever budget. One of the things I think people also need to be very cognizant of is if you're reaching out to the financial institutions asking them to defer mortgage payments, for instance, you need to recognize that they're not forgiving the loan, they're deferring the loan. And so if you defer your mortgage payments for a period of time, the interest is still going to be there, and then you're going to end up paying interest on interest. So it actually becomes a little bit more expensive. It does help you get through the crisis, but when the crisis is over, we've got to get you back on a plan that's going to be able to let you get caught up. I think the silver lining in this is that the steps were significant to get us to flatten the curve. And if you look at sort of the reported cases in Canada, it's significantly less than other places such as the US. So I think that we've done a good job of trying to reduce the number of cases and flatten the curve. It probably is going to be around with us for a while. But having said that, we seem to be taking the right steps to reduce the health impact. it is creating a financial crisis for people. And in order to deal with the financial crisis, just make sure that you reach out and get the advice you need if you're unable to manage it on your own. So as you work through your budget, if you're having any difficulties, just make sure you reach out and get the right advice, because there are solutions to debt problems.